Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be doing some spoiler work. Now I'm not sure if I've showed you guys the picture, which I'll do shortly, of the spoiler I had in my original R34, which I made myself by getting some brackets and making it into a GT style wing. Just gives the car a bit more of a sportier look and makes it look, in my opinion, a bit better. It kind of uses the same principle as the Nismo S-Tune spoiler without paying over $1,000 for it. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys how to take the spoiler off and obviously how to undo all the clips and all that, and obviously fabricating the spoiler. I'll throw a picture up of what my old spoiler looked like now in my old R34, and you guys can take a look at that. Right, so I'm not going to bore you guys with the details of taking all these clips out. It's pretty easy to do. I'll just show you how to do one, and you can pretty much get it from there. So basically in, twist out, and you just grab it like so, and it pulls out. Make sure you don't drop them like I did. Keep them somewhere easy, just there is fine. But yeah, I'm going to do this, and then we'll come back once that's all removed. Alright guys, we've got the covering off now. Just got 2 bolts to remove. 10mm from there, how well you guys can see that, and then over here, another one there. Once I remove them, I'll come back to you, but you just need a long socket, 10mm, and you'll be right. Alright guys, we've got the spoiler off now. In the garage, I've just got to tear down to obviously not scratch it. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but there's 2 Phillips head screws in there. We can't see that well. 2 Phillips head screws in there that need to come out in order for this part here to come out. And then once we do that, we can start obviously working on everything else. So let me undo these screws and I'll come back. Alright, so we've got one side done here. So that's it there. These don't need to come out, they're fine there, they can stay. Was a bit difficult to get out, but we're going to be replacing them with these pieces of sheet metal that I've got over here. Just to give you guys a bit of a teaser on what's up and coming. We've got lots of Nismo parts to install. We're also going to be doing a R34 GTR steering wheel, retrimming that. There's the cover there. That's going to be for the 34-2. Suspension, obviously, exhaust, that's going on shortly. But yeah, back to the spoiler. So I've got these panels here, basically, and they're going to go over it like so, and kind of just conform to the body a little bit. They'll bend over, and we'll put either pop rivets or I guess a screw in each to hold it down. And then from there, it's going to be attached to one of the mounting brackets, which is here. Now, these holes are identical to the ones that the factory already has, as you can see there. So they'll be a straight bolt on, but it's just a case of obviously mounting these up properly and making sure they're all on there flush and ready to go. So look, stay tuned. I'm going to drill these out shortly, and then we can get started on obviously putting it all together. Alright guys, so that's basically one of the brackets that I've built or that I ordered, and it came, you got to assemble it yourself. It's a bit tedious, a bit of a pain in the butt if I'm honest, but hey, it's all part and process of what we do. Here's the plate that I showed you before. I've just drilled out 2 holes there because I'm going to start mounting it shortly. Also, it's worth noting that you can't actually mount this part here, or the bolts here, to this without obviously this being mounted first, because you need to obviously put these in first before you put those in. So yeah, look, it's going to take a bit longer than I anticipated today, but I'll get it done. Alright guys, so I've got one of them mocked up at the moment. I've realised that the plates I'm going to use, I need to get, well, I guess longer and wider, because I want it to cover everything, as opposed to just obviously leaving that little part out there. So I'm going to get them redone up. I'm just going to finish it off though, because I want to make it so obviously I can fit it to the car. I've got some plugs in there at the moment that are just holding or stopping the water coming out of the boot, or coming into the boot, sorry, the trunk, whatever you call it. So I'm going to finish this off today, hopefully, and see how it looks, pretty much. Alright guys, look, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a few days later now. You probably saw my last video where I took the car to the dyno to get it tuned up. I ended up going back to Scotty and getting a couple of more plates that were a bigger size, just to cover the whole thing really. It was annoying me pretty much, and I thought if I'm gonna do it properly, and pretty much do it right the first time. So basically what's happened is I've taken off the old plates, which are these ones here obviously, and replace them with a bigger one. So the bigger ones, they're not too much bigger, but they're big enough to cover everything we need. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the last 2 bolts in here, and basically then we'll start mocking it up and getting it ready to put on the car. As I said, it's pretty simple. I've just got some tech screws here, self-tapping, and pretty much just straight in, and I use is this one here, just an Azito, a little mini driver, just because I don't want to, it's plastic, so I don't want to have the risk of obviously heating up the plastic too much that it melts and burns and causes issues. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put the rest of the bolts in here, and we'll come back to it. Alright guys, all the bolts are in now. I've started marking where I think it should go, so like there. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to look, to be honest with you. I remember it being a bit different from when I had it on my old car. I guess with these, because they're fully obviously movable and whatnot, you can pretty much mount it whichever way you want, whether it's having it a bit more forward like that. I don't know. I'm gonna look, at the end of the day, I've got to drill into this stuff, and it's going to be a trial and error thing. It's not going to be a clear-cut thing. This is not made for this car, so it's going to be a bit difficult to try and obviously do anything by plans, because there are none. As I said, this is something that I came up with back when I had my old R34. So I guess that being the case, it'll just be a trial and error thing. The only thing I don't want to happen is I don't want the spoiler to sit too far forward, like as if it's like that. I want to try and get it as much like a GT wing as I can. So yeah, as I said, this will be a trial and error thing. I don't know. I'm gonna obviously mount one and see how it goes, and then pretty much just put something on the other end and brace it up as best I can to try and get it level to see what happens. Yeah, I guess stay with me and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so I managed to get the first one in. As you can see there, just basically got to level things up, make it sit flush. The bolts I've got in there now, it's making it a bit difficult to get this assembly on, which is becoming, I guess, quite time consuming. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do eventually is replace the bolts with something that sit a little bit lower, because this is pretty annoying, and it's time consuming, and I don't want that. I want something that's going to be a bit quicker. So I guess for now it'll do, but eventually I will duck off and go and pick up some bolts that actually fit well. So So they're on there now. Obviously we will tighten them up once we put the whole thing back on. But just to give you guys a bit of an idea, that's on there like that now. So I'll finish up the rest of this and I'll come back to you once I've drilled the other 2 holes and mounted it all up, so you can see obviously one side done and what it's going to look like. Alright guys, we're back again. Look, to be honest with you, this has taken way longer than I anticipated. In between work and everything else, it's just been really crazy and hectic. And I started this project like a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago, and now here we are in the second week and it's still not done. So, bit of an update. I've put the first bolt in there now, just to line it all up nicely. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting the rest of these bolts in and then obviously measuring it up to make sure it's got the right width and whatnot. So I'm going to put these bolts in now, and then I'm not going to video record that because you don't really need to see that boring stuff. But as soon as I'm done with that, then we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, well I figured, I put all the bolts in now and I've started doing obviously the mounting points there. I figured I'll show you how I do it. Obviously I just mark it with a pencil, first of all. Once I put it down flat, I've done some measuring obviously over here to make sure everything lines up with the other side. Because if you stuff that up, then basically it's game over and you've got to start all over again, and you don't want to spoil it with a million different holes in it. Thinking about it now, pop rivets probably would have looked nicer, but again, I'm the worst at doing tutorials, and like I said, I probably could never be a professional YouTuber because I'm obviously all over the shop. But I'll show you how obviously I mount it now. I'll basically get the plate there, and then obviously with the drill and the stainless steel bit, start drilling. Apply just a little bit of pressure because you don't want to go straight through, and that's how I bent another drill bit before, is that I was pushing too hard and it went straight through, and almost went through the other side of the spoiler. After that, I basically just grab the bolt, chuck it in the hole that we've just made, and just pretty much, you don't want to over tighten it because you don't want it to be obviously, you don't want to thread the plastic basically, and obviously steel and plastic are two different substances, and basically that's when things can go pear-shaped really quickly. So pretty much I'm done for that side now. I'll show you guys the other side, so you can see what it looks like. That's it there. Basically that's one side of it done. It's all adjustable. So pretty much, as I said, these mount up directly with the original R34 spoiler. As you can see from this one here, it's basically a mirror image from the original existing mounting points, which is great. Obviously, once it sits, once it's on there, you can adjust the back, forward, however you want to do it. So you can pretty much adjust it whichever way you fancy. As I said, I want it to look more like a GT wing than anything else. So look, to be honest with you guys, I probably won't finish this today. I've got to run to an appointment now, but I will come back shortly. Obviously you don't know that it's been a long time me doing this because you're just seeing the one video, but I know I probably haven't explained much, but obviously just wanted to give you guys a bit of an insight on what I do and how I do it. So look, we will pick this up later, and hopefully I might have it done by tonight and be able to show you guys tomorrow morning. Cheers. Alright guys, we are done. Classic example of why you measure twice and drill once. My measurements were off not once but twice, so that's my fault. I didn't measure up properly, so I'm going to have to replace the plates here eventually. But they shouldn't look too bad on the car. I mean, you probably will be able to see them, but it's not going to be that bad for now, to be honest with you. Both mounts are on there. I haven't actually tightened them up yet because I want to make sure it's on the car level. And look, to be honest with you, if I could do this again, I'd probably set aside a whole day and try and knock it out within one day, so I'm not stopping and starting. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you get cars and you get motivated to do things. Basically you just rush around and try and get it done, whichever way possible, really. So if I had to do it again, I'd probably wait a little bit, and then obviously try and obviously do it within one day and make sure I do it properly. I'm going to chuck it on the car now. It probably won't stand up on the car because the top part of the spoiler is a bit too heavy, so it's just going to push these down like that. But I'm going to put it on the car now and take a quick video of it and show you guys. And then once that's done, probably tomorrow morning, I'll bolt it all in and obviously grab the leveler out and make sure it's on the car level. So yeah, I'll pop it on the car now and show you guys what it looks like, just obviously hanging there. It's dark time now, or night time, so don't expect it to be too good with the video quality because I'm doing everything on my phone. So yeah, we'll chuck it on the car now and see how that looks. Alright lads, it's on the car now. As I said, can't really see jack shit, but hey, it's on there. Just needs to be pushed down a bit, but obviously you can see that once I have it up, raised, and that's where the leveler comes out, it's going to look quite good. So what I'll do is I will put it all together on the car tomorrow, take a video and see what happens, and post it up for you guys to have a look at. But I need the light to work because I can't see anything at the moment. So yeah, we'll come to tomorrow morning. Alright lads, everything's bolted in now. Got the covering back on. It's pretty firm. It'll definitely hold, put it that way. But now all we need to do is grab the leveler out and start obviously getting this to the point where we're happy with how it sits, whether it's something like that or maybe even putting it a touch forward up like that. I think that's probably going to be the best look for it. So what I'm going to do now is grab the leveler out and then start tightening everything up, and I'll show you guys once it's finished. Alright guys, so we are done. Everything is tightened up and where it needs to be. Look, as I said, it's not to everyone's taste. Some people like it, some people don't. I believe it adds a bit more of an aggressive look to the car, makes it look a bit sportier, each their own. So this is my car, so I like it like that. From the front, obviously, when you're standing up, it raises up a bit higher than stock, obviously, so you can see it. So it looks the business as far as I'm concerned. Is this the end of the spoiler debacle? No, well, there's still a few things I need to do on it in order to make it 100%, which I will obviously end up doing once I get some more plates from Scotty, and then I can line everything up perfectly, so it's 110% where it needs to be. But for now it's level, or as close to. You can't really tell by looking at it with the naked eye. Yeah guys, look, I just wanted to say, if you've hung around and watched the whole video, thank you. As I said, my tutorials aren't the best. I know I probably leave a lot of stuff out, but I'm hoping that I give you guys some insight on how to do some things. Look, thanks for all that have subscribed, leave comments and like videos. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. I've got some more stuff coming up soon.